Back at it again with another video. Thank you all so very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. A lot of my videos have been doing really well lately, so I want to take this moment and opportunity to say thank you very much. Your viewership, your engaging with my content means a lot to me, so thank you. So today's video is all about our two-party system, but more or less within our two parties we basically have four. But we have Democrats on the left, Republicans on the right, and I'll go through these. So P over here on our left means progressive. Think of within the House of Representatives, like people like AOC and the Squad. You got your more moderate, more liberal wing of the party. Think of the if you're thinking of the House, think of members like, I don't know, the New Dem caucus, more liberal members of the Democratic Party. President Biden might be considered part of that. President Obama. Within the Republican wing of the political spectrum, we have our more moderate members and our more conservative members. So more moderates might be people like, I don't know, Mitt Romney, maybe Larry Hogan, and then also within the conservative wing of the Republican Party, you have your Freedom Caucus, people like Matt Gaetz and Madison Cawthorn and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Freedom Caucus, the right of the Republicans, your more moderate Republicans, your more liberal, moderate Democrats, and then on the left you have your progressives. So let's skip over to different factions within the Democratic Party first, and then we'll skip over to the Republican Party second. All right, so Democratic, I said you had more progressives and then more liberal and more moderates. So ultimately, the liberal wing of the party, we got President Biden, President Obama, Vice President Harris, Speaker Pelosi, Kennedy's over here. That'd be the more liberal wing of party. You got moderates. I would also consider President Clinton. Clinton was more, he had his, let's skip over, third way, Democratic, the centrist, idea of, instead of having the two parties, you just do it a different way. So I'd consider President Clinton and Vice President Al Gore in that more moderate section as well. Senator Carper, Senator Kelly, Tester's kind of has to be a moderate because he's from, Montana is a very red state. Yeah, I'd consider moderates more in the liberal wing of the party, but more to, moderates might be more towards the center, but I'd still consider them more liberal. Progressives, so Presidents FDR and LBJ. We got Senator Fetterman, Senator Warren, Pramila Jayapal, who's chair of the Progressive Caucus, AOC. You got Squad also. Bernie for sure. Bernie's definitely progressive. He was the member that started the Congressional Progressive Caucus, the CPC. Whole bunch of other ones, Senator Merkley. I think Senator Sherrod Brown might be one of them that you can consider progressive. And then you have your more conservative members. Senator Manchin's from West Virginia. You kind of have to be very conservative Democrat to win as a Democrat in West Virginia. Henry Cuellar, he's a representative in South Texas. Representative Golden, Representative Gottheimer, very conservative Democrats. Josh Gottheimer is not progressive, the Problem Solvers Caucus chair. I think also with I don't know who the Republican one is, chair for that, but you have different factions throughout the Democratic Party. I think the faction that I find really interesting as of late is the Bourbon Democrats. That was more, President Grover Cleveland. But if you look within Congressional Caucus, you have the Blue Dogs, which are pretty moderate, pretty even conservative Democrats. But then even if you look at New Dem Coalition and Progressive Caucus, it's pretty relatively balanced. 94-101. If you add Blue Dogs and New Dems together, you get 102, and then Progressives 101. So the factions and the wings of the party hold up. So you got your Progressives on one end, liberal, more moderate Democrats, even conservatives, third way, centrist, Clinton style, 1990s Democrat, here also. Okay, we're going to skip over to factions in the Republican Party. So, the way I have it is I have it more moderate Republicans, and then I also have your more conservatives. Mitch McConnell, I would consider more conservative. Same thing with Governor DeSantis. Kevin McCarthy has kind of positioned himself between both moderates and conservatives to kind of, attain the speakership. Social conservatism, I'd consider Pence more to the conservative right. I know who Santorum and Huckabee are, but to be completely honest, they're irrelevant now. Your more libertarian wing of the party, that is, Senator Mike Lee, Senator Rand Paul. Your more libertarian republicanism, just no government is kind of what they're all about. Your neocons, basically 2000s republicanism. You got Bush, Cheney, and Bolton. Your more moderates, Susan Collins would definitely be considered a more moderate member. Lisa Murkowski, Governor Sununu would consider that as well. Liberal Republicans, Phil Scott in Vermont, Governor Arnold back out in California. I really wish Arnold can run for president, but he was not born in the United States. He was born in Austria, so he wouldn't be able to run for president. I think he would be fascinating to run for president if he was able to. Governor Baker of Massachusetts, so you're more liberal. That would be more in the more moderate camp. Liberal Republicans more to the left here in the moderate wing of the party. Baker and Phil Scott are Republican governors in pretty blue states. Your Trump faction, you got Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz. Those are, very conservative, very to the right. You got your Marjorie Taylor Greenes over here and your AOCs over here. You got Squad, and then you got, the Republican version of, I don't know if they would be a Squad. I don't know. Your anti-Trump faction, Mitt Romney would be more, I'd consider moderate. Liz Cheney. Republicans don't like her now, but she's very conservative. Republicans just don't like her because she voted against Trump and it was against Trump during the whole January 6th committee. So your Freedom Caucus is more, to the right. Your Republican Study Committee governance group is a little bit of both. At a time, there was progressive Republicans. If you look at President Teddy Roosevelt, he was, progressive wing of the Republican Party, and then ultimately progressives shifted over time to the Democratic Party. What's interesting is both Roosevelts, President Teddy and FDR, were both progressives. If you look at FDR was a progressive Republican. If we skip down to progressives on the left, FDR was also a progressive. So both progressive Roosevelt presidencies, I find that fascinating. Other early progressives back in the early 1900s, La Follette, Hughes, Hiram Johnson, back in the Civil War era was known as radical Republicans. So, I think Fremont would have been part of that as well. That was ultimately those who opposed slavery were hardline abolitionists. And then ultimately you had different Reagan coalition, Rockefeller Republicans. Rockefeller Republicans are more liberal, Northeast style Republicans. So Earl Warren, Thomas Dewey, who was governor of New York, Prescott Bush, who was the grandfather of President W. Bush and the father of H.W. Cabot Lodge, George Romney, the father of Mitt Romney. And I'd even consider Eisenhower to be. I'd consider Eisenhower a more, progressive, moderate, liberal-ish Republican. Your Tea Party movement as well. But within our two-party system, we essentially have 4 different parties under the two-party umbrella. On your left, you have your progressives. On on the left, the further left over here, you have center left right here with more liberals, center right here with your more moderate liberal Republicans. And then on the right, and even far right, you have your conservatives, and we have our 4 parties within our two-party system. So progressives and liberals make up the Democrats, your more moderate Republicans and your conservative Republicans make up the Republican Party. I think you can even divide it out even further if you really, really wanted to, but you can see within our 2 parties, there's really 4 main groups. So with that being said, that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. As I've said, the videos have been doing really, really well lately, so thank you so much. And I will see you in the next video. Deuces.